Mom, can we open just one present early? Emma begged, holding up the DNA test envelopes that had arrived yesterday. These technically count as Christmas gifts since we ordered them during the Black Friday sale. I glanced at my husband Mark, who shrugged with his usual easy smile. Why not? It'll be fun to know our ancestry before the whole family arrives for Christmas dinner. My twin sister Sarah, who'd stayed over for the holidays, looked up from her coffee with an odd expression. Maybe we should wait until after dinner? There was something in her voice I couldn't quite place. Anxiety? Fear? Come on, Aunt Sarah, Emma insisted, already tearing into her envelope. Don't you want to know if Mom's really your identical twin? Maybe you're actually the mailman's daughter. She laughed at her own joke. I'm Catherine Turner, 43, and that Christmas morning started like any other. Emma's excitement, Mark's relaxed demeanor, Sarah's quiet presence. We'd done the DNA tests on a whim after Emma's science class covered genetics. It'll be a fun family activity, she'd said. Plus I want to know if I'm really Viking royalty like you always joke about, Dad. If only we'd known how those innocent little envelopes would shatter everything we thought we knew about our family. Emma opened hers first, bouncing on the couch as she logged into the website. Okay, let's see. 52% Northwestern European. No surprise there. 25% Mediterranean. Oh cool, I do have some Scandinavian. Dad, you were right, Mark beamed, reaching for his envelope next. Let me see if I'm the one who gave you those Viking genes, princess. I watched them, this perfect moment between father and daughter, not knowing it would be one of the last. Sarah shifted uncomfortably beside me, her coffee cup rattling slightly in her hands. That's weird, Emma said, scrolling through her results. Mom, it says I have a really close DNA match with someone named Michael Robertson, like closer than Aunt Sarah. Is he a cousin we don't know about? The coffee cup slipped from Sarah's hands, shattering on the hardwood floor. Mark looked up from his own results, his face suddenly ashen. Michael Robertson, he repeated, his voice hollow. I reached for Emma's laptop, but Mark's results were already open on his phone. The color had drained from his face as he stared at the screen. Catherine, he said, using my full name in a way he hadn't in years. Why does this say Emma and I aren't related? The room went silent. Even Emma, our perpetually chatty 14-year-old, seemed to sense the weight of the moment. That's impossible, I whispered. But Sarah was already standing, gathering her things. Sarah, where are you going? I'm sorry, she said, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry, Katie. I never thought the tests. I didn't know this would happen. Aunt Sarah? Emma's voice was small now, confused. What's going on? Mark stood up slowly, his hands shaking. Michael Robertson, he said again, and this time I recognized the name. My sister's boyfriend from college, the one she dated right before I met Mark. Catherine, please tell me this isn't what it looks like. But I couldn't tell him that, because I didn't understand it myself. Emma's DNA matching closer to my sister's ex-boyfriend than to her own father. Mark showing no genetic connection to our daughter. Sarah's guilty tears. Sarah, I said, my voice sharp now, what did you do? But my twin sister was already at the door, her overnight bag clutched to her chest like a shield. I'm sorry, she repeated. I never meant it was just supposed to be once. He looked so much like Michael. The implications of her words hit me like a physical blow. Mark grabbed the edge of the couch to steady himself. Mom? Emma's voice cracked. Dad, what's happening? I looked at my daughter, our daughter, seeing her suddenly through new eyes. The dark curls that neither Mark nor I had. The olive skin that didn't match our fair complexions, the height she'd inherited from. I think, I said slowly, watching my sister's retreating back, that Aunt Sarah has some explaining to do about the Christmas she spent with us 14 years ago. The Christmas when I was bedridden with pneumonia. The Christmas when Mark had to work nights at the hospital. The Christmas when Sarah stayed over to help out. The Christmas apparently, that changed all our lives forever. Don't follow me, Sarah called out as she rushed to her car. Please, Katie, I'll explain everything, but not now. Mark sank onto the couch, the DNA results still glowing accusingly on his phone screen. Emma sat frozen, her own results painting a picture none of us had been prepared to see. And somewhere out there, Michael Robertson was about to receive a very unexpected DNA match notification on Christmas morning. The next few hours were a blur of tears, accusations, and deafening silence. Emma had locked herself in her room, while Mark sat in his study, staring blankly at the wall. I kept calling Sarah, but each attempt went straight to voicemail. We need to talk about this, I finally said, standing in Mark's study doorway. The Christmas tree lights reflected in the window behind him, a mockery of the festive morning we'd expected. Talk about what, Catherine? His voice was flat. About how our daughter isn't mine, or about how your sister, how she. He couldn't even finish the sentence. I didn't know, I whispered. Mark, you have to believe me. I never knew. He turned to face me, his eyes red. 14 years, Catherine. 14 years of memories, of first steps in school plays and father-daughter dances. Was any of it real? Of course it was real. I moved closer, but he held up a hand to stop me. Biology doesn't change who you are to Emma. You're her father in every way that matters. Am I? He laughed bitterly. Because according to these results, I'm just the man who raised another man's child. A man your sister was apparently sleeping with while pretending to help you. My phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. I'm at Mom and Dad's. Please don't tell them. I need time to think. She's at our parents' house, I told Mark. Should we what? Drive over there and ruin their Christmas too? Tell them their perfect daughter seduced her sister's husband and created a lie we've all been living for 14 years. That's not what happened, I said automatically, but wasn't it? The pieces were starting to fall into place. Sarah's excessive helpfulness that winter, her strange behavior whenever Michael was mentioned over the years, the way she always seemed to study Emma's features with a mixture of guilt and longing. A soft knock at the study door interrupted my thoughts. Emma stood there, her eyes puffy from crying. Can we talk? All of us? Mark straightened in his chair, and I saw him struggling to compose himself for her sake. Whatever he was feeling, he'd always put Emma first. Course, princess, don't call me that, she said sharply. Not when I'm not really yours. Emma, I moved to her, but she stepped back. I've been doing research, she continued, holding up her phone, about DNA matches and genetic relationships, and I found Michael Robertson on Facebook. My heart stopped. Emma, please tell me you haven't contacted him. No, she said, but I know who he is now. He's a doctor in Boston. He has 3 kids who look like me. Her voice cracked, and Aunt Sarah is listed as a friend on his profile. Mark stood abruptly, walking to the window. Have they been in contact this whole time? I don't know, Emma said, but his oldest daughter has the same birthday as me, just 3 years younger. The implication hung heavy in the air. Had Sarah's relationship with Michael continued? Were there other secrets waiting to be uncovered? I think, Emma said carefully, we need to talk to Aunt Sarah, all of us. No. Mark's voice was firm. I can't look at her right now. Dad, Emma said, and I noticed she'd gone back to calling him Dad. I'm angry too, but I need answers. We all do. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Sarah. Michael knows. The DNA match notified him too. He's asking questions. Of course he was. How could he not? Somewhere in Boston, another family's Christmas had just been upended by our DNA test results. He knows, I said quietly, showing them the text. Michael knows about Emma. Mark slumped back into his chair. Perfect, just perfect. Merry Christmas to everyone. Emma moved to his side, hesitating before placing her hand on his shoulder. You're still my dad, she said softly. DNA test or not, you're the one who taught me to ride a bike, and helped me with my science projects, and scared away the monsters under my bed. That's real. That's what matters. I watched as Mark's composure finally broke, tears streaming down his face as he pulled Emma into a hug. I love you, princess. Nothing will ever change that. I know, she whispered. I love you too, Dad. My phone lit up one more time. A new text, this time from an unknown number. This is Michael. We need to talk. All of us. Sarah told me everything. I showed the message to Mark and Emma, my hands shaking. What do you want to do? Emma squared her shoulders, looking so grown up in that moment. I want the truth. All of it. No more secrets. Mark nodded slowly. Okay, but not today. Today we just breathe. We order Chinese food, because God knows I'm not cooking Christmas dinner now. And tomorrow we face it all. I finished. Together. As I ordered our non-traditional Christmas dinner, I couldn't help but wonder what other revelations awaited us. Sarah's confession, Michael's story, our parents' reaction. This was only the beginning. 3 days after Christmas, we sat in our living room facing Sarah and Michael Robertson. The same room where DNA results had shattered our reality now hosted the painful truth we'd demanded. Start from the beginning, I said, gripping Mark's hand. Emma sat between us, her posture rigid. Sarah looked decades older than she had on Christmas morning, her usual polished appearance replaced by obvious exhaustion. Michael, a tall man with Emma's curls and olive complexion, couldn't stop staring at our daughter. It started that winter, Sarah began. When Katie had pneumonia. I was in a bad place. Michael and I had broken up months before, but seeing him at the hospital where Mark worked, where I worked, Mark interrupted bitterly. While you were supposedly helping my sick wife. Michael shifted uncomfortably. I didn't know Sarah was Catherine's sister at first. When I figured it out, I tried to end it, but what? Emma's voice was sharp. But you decided sleeping with your ex, while pretending to be my dad was okay. Emma, I warned softly, but she shook her head. No, Mom, I want to hear their excuse. I want to know why they let Dad believe I was his for 14 years. Sarah broke down, tears streaming down her face. I didn't know I was pregnant at first. When I found out, I was scared. Michael was engaged to someone else by then, and Katie and Mark were so happy. So you let me believe Emma was mine. Mark's voice cracked. Let me fall in love with her, raise her, only to have this bomb drop 14 years later. I convinced myself it was better this way. Sarah whispered. Emma would have a stable home, loving parents. Michael had his new family. I thought I was doing the right thing. The right thing. I stood up, fury finally breaking through my shock. You slept with my husband, got pregnant, and let us raise your child while playing the doting aunt. How was any of that right, Catherine? Michael interjected. I know we can't undo what happened, but we're here now. We want to make this right. Make it right. Emma laughed, a hollow sound. How exactly do you plan to do that? Are you going to erase the fact that my entire life has been a lie? That my aunt is actually my mother? That my cousins in Boston are really my half-siblings? The room fell silent. Sarah reached for Emma, but she jerked away. Don't, Emma said. Just, don't. You had 14 years to tell me the truth. Both of you did. Instead you let me grow up calling another woman mom, and loving a man you knew wasn't my father. But he is my father, she continued, turning to Mark with tears in her eyes. DNA or not, you're my dad. You chose to love me every day. They chose to lie. Mark pulled Emma close, his own eyes wet. Always, princess. Nothing changes that. Michael cleared his throat. Emma, I know this is overwhelming, but I'd like the chance to know you. My other children, your siblings, they'd like to meet you too. Your other children, Mark said quietly. The ones you actually claimed. The ones you didn't abandon. Sarah stood up suddenly. I need some air. She rushed out onto the patio, and after a moment's hesitation, I followed her. How could you? I asked my twin, my best friend, my betrayer. How could you do this to us? I was jealous, she whispered. You had everything, the perfect marriage, the beautiful home. Even when you were sick, you had Mark's devotion. I wanted that, just once. I wanted to be you. So you became me in the worst possible way. The pieces clicked into place. That's why you stayed over so much. You pretended to be me with Mark. Her silence was answer enough. Behind us, through the window, I could see Emma showing Michael her school photos on her phone. Mark watching with a mix of pain and protection. I'll never forgive you for this, I said quietly. You didn't just betray me. You betrayed Emma. You denied her the truth about herself for 14 years. I know, Sarah replied. But she had a better life with you than she ever would have had with me. That wasn't your choice to make. Inside, Emma was standing up. I need time, she announced to the room. I can't process all of this right now. Michael, I'm not ready to meet your other kids. Maybe someday, but not now. Michael nodded, understanding in his eyes. Take all the time you need. We'll be here when you're ready. As they left, Sarah paused at the door. Katie, Mark, I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this, Mark said. Nothing fixes this. Just go. When they were gone, the three of us sat in silence. Our family forever changed but somehow still intact. Emma leaned against Mark's shoulder, while I held her hand. What now? She asked quietly. Now, I said. We heal, together, on our terms. Mark kissed the top of her head. And we remember, that family isn't about DNA, it's about choice. We chose each other 14 years ago, and we choose each other now. Emma nodded, tears falling. I choose you too, both of you, always. Outside, snow began to fall, covering our Christmas decorations in a clean white blanket. Sometimes I thought, the most painful truths can lead to the strongest bonds. Our family wasn't what we thought it was, but maybe, just maybe, it could be something even stronger. Because in the end, love is a choice, And we chose each other. The end.